This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the VP of Exploration for Q2 Metals, Mr. Neil McCallum. Neil, it's great to have you back on. I think it's timely. I wanted to get an update out to shareholders. How are you, first and foremost?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. Good.
Well, let's get to it. Look, I think the sell-off in the stock last week to the drill program update was tough to see as a shareholder, and frankly, I think way overdone. So again, thank you for making time and coming on. You provided an update on the MIA Lithium property, and I wanted you to come on and just provide some context, because you would have thought that what you told the market was that you didn't find anything visually in those first 5 holes, which was not the case. So can you provide a bit of context about what you're seeing, what you expected, and what comes next?
Okay, for sure. So that's a really good question, and frankly, we're getting a few direct calls on that. And I think what we've told everybody is the same, in that we are early in our drill program. The first phase of drilling is planned at 10,000 meters, and we reported on a fraction of that. So also, not to say that anything we did report on is anything that's negative. We did find spodumene pegmatite in those drill holes, and those intervals that were reported as pegmatite are not insignificant by any means. I think part of what we're faced with is an expectation of, 3-digit 100-meter plus intervals of pegmatite from other well-known deposits in the region, like Patriot's Corvette, and that's a little bit of an anomaly even in James Bay to have that kind of thick interval of pegmatite. So a lot of the deposits in James Bay are also these series of stacked pegmatite bodies, and some folks will speak negatively to that, but when it comes down to it, it can be mined just as easily as one large body, with ore sorting and all sorts of things like that. It makes no difference, as far as I can read or I can tell from examples. So we're still enthusiastic with the way things are going. We have a lot more work to do, and we're going to be back on the project after the Christmas break, finishing up the program.
As far as the depth and the continuity of mineralization, what you've seen visually at least, how satisfied are you thus far? Or are you hoping and vectoring in towards hopefully something shallower and more continuous?
Oh, yeah. No, in terms of depth, that's not a problem. For what we're doing on this program, we're taking a few of these holes rather a little bit deeper than what we would normally do later in a program, just so that we can pick up any pegmatites that are deeper, and then we can follow the dip and figure out the structure of that as they trend toward the surface, and we'd be following up as that goes toward the surface. From what we're seeing right now, the way that these pegmatites are oriented, they look fairly shallow, so like about a 20 to 30 degree dip, which means that you can add tons fairly easily at a shallow depth. So we're encouraged by that.
Excellent. What comes next, Neil?
Yeah, so we're going to keep drilling. Like, we've got 2 rigs on site now. We're going to keep them until roughly mid-December, and then we'll be back once the ground is nice and frozen, in January into February. We have a lot of money in the bank still, so it's not like we need to refinance at these rates. So I think that despite what the share price is doing, I know it's tough for those folks that maybe did get in at the 50-cent level, but we are confident, and we're going to continue working and building that value.
I'm glad you mentioned the treasury. I think that point is critical, right? We have tax loss selling season. It's the end of the year. The holidays are coming up, and frankly, raising capital at current prices would not be ideal. I was fortunate enough to get in on the 10-cent round. I wrote a check at 50 cents. sitting on all of those shares and absolutely looking forward to more news. When do you anticipate assays to start coming in? Because obviously grade is going to be important, right?
Oh, for sure. Yep. And on that, we are going to be reporting on our ground sampling program that we did from the mapping in September. That should be out within the next few weeks. Following that, we'll be putting a news release on the current drilling. We'll likely do that either one more before the end of the program or one large one at the end of the program. And then the assays will be in the new year, the way that the labs are trending on their turnaround times. That should be into January for the results of the current drilling.
Excellent. Well, listen, Neil, thanks for the update. I'm looking forward to having you back on. Appreciate the context, and we'll chat soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.